take a look at a slightly different type of problem, but still the same outcome. We have to find the equation of the circle. This doesn't look anything like 2 parentheses equals something. It even equals 0. So what's the deal here? What are we doing? Well, first of all, you need to remember from way back then how to complete a square. When you learned how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square, we need it again now. The first step is, let me combine all my x terms. So we have an x squared and a 6x. Let me put those together, and I leave a little space here. Then I'm going to combine my y terms, y squared minus 2y. And this positive 6 here, that plus 6, has to go to the other side. And how do we bring it to the other side? We're going to set it equal to a negative 6. Now comes the part where you have to complete the square. You have to get trinomials here, 3 terms. First with all the x terms and then with the y term. Remember how to complete the square? You take the middle term, in this case the coefficient of the middle term, the 6, and divide it by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, little sidebar over here. Then you take that 3 and you square, and that gives you 9. This 9 has to be added here to make it a perfect square trinomial. Completing the square, get a perfect square trinomial. Now what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So we're going to add a 9 here as well. Then we're going to look at the y terms. The middle term is a negative 2y. We're going to take the negative 2 and divide that by 2, and that gives us a negative 1. This negative 1 now has to be squared. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. So in this case, we add a 1 here. And again, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. We have completed the square. Now we need to factor. We factor the perfect square trinomial with the x terms and the y terms, and then we're almost done. X squared plus 6x plus 9. How do we factor that? Which two numbers multiply to 9 and at the same time add to 6? Guess what? It's always the number that you get when you divide by 2. So that would factor into x plus 3 times x plus 3. Now, is there another way I can write that? Sure is. I can write it as x plus 3 squared. Oh, look at that. Looks almost like the circle. Plus, we factor now the y term trinomial. Which two numbers multiply to 1 but at the same time add to negative 2? Well, that's the number we found when we divided by 2. So that would factor into y minus 1 times y minus 1. And we write it as y minus 1 squared equals the last step. We have to now do the arithmetic. Negative 6 plus 9 is 3 plus 1 is 4. Oh, it gets even better. Here you go. Done you are. That is the equation of your circle. But I could go one step further. What is the center of this circle? The center, h and k, negative 3 comma positive 1. Remember, the 4 represents the radius squared, so if you take the square root out of 4, that gives you the radius, and that is 2. Now you're really done. That's how you find the equation of a circle if you have to complete the square first. Have fun.